The story begins with a legend in ancient Greece, and it talks about the inhabitants of Olympus and the superheroes. At that time, there were many monsters and giants destroying the earth. Then the giant Zeus came and killed all the monsters, and Zeus became the king of the gods and Zeus. After a while, a boy left behind and gave his son a small horse that was flying, and the child started playing with this horse, and King Zeus called his son there, and this remained his brother Zeus, the owner of the Valley of the Dead, and he was always greedy for the kingship of Zeus. Zeus told me that he was coming to congratulate him. The king asked him to sit and celebrate with them, but he did not agree. He said to him, "I have a lot of work." Then he walked away, and no one knew what he was up to. The servants' names were worse, and their name was Pain and Panic, and we also saw fortune tellers who killed people in a matter of seconds. They don't cut off the rope of their lives, and he wants to leave them and ask them if this is a kick that will lead him to take the throne one day. They told him that on the day of the giants, they would rise again to try to destroy the earth, and Zeus, of course, would fight them, but if Zeus fought them alone, what you do wins. Wah! He will lose this battle, but if Hercules fought with Zeus, he would be able to defeat the giants with ease, so he went crazy and asked his followers to destroy him. He told them that in order for them to destroy Hercules, they must turn a normal human and lose the power of the gods. The sorcerers made him a drink and told him that Heru must eat. He drinks all of this drink because Hera loses his strength and returns to being a normal human, but the most important thing is that he should drink the entire bottle and not drop a drop of it. At night, everyone is sleeping with their horse. At night, everyone is sleeping with their horse. The followers had arrived, and the king and his wife woke up to the sound of shuffling. Of course, run quickly to your place. But they discovered that a man had been kidnapped, and Odin's followers had taken him and drank the drink that the witches had made him, but his luck dropped a drop of this drink, and that's why he kicked and didn't drink the whole drink. They heard a voice coming towards them, so they ran along and left to see him. Then the voice came out, the voice of a man and his wife, and they met him. Rachel fell to the ground and was crying. And these two were not leaving behind, so they decided to take Hercules and raise him as if he were their own son. At this time, followers, we turned and were tired and left to finish seeing you. But she saw him catch them both, beat them, and threw them far away, and they discovered that he was a man who was still strong and had not transformed into a human or anything, so he followed Odin. They were afraid that he might know what happened, so they decided to hide for him, and they knew that the plan had succeeded. King Zeus knew what had happened, and he also thought that it was a human being, so he was very sad, and he knew that he would not be able to live with them again in Olympus. The years passed and Kik grew up, and remained a strong young man. Because of his great strength, he would ride the donkey on the carriage and pull it himself, and he is walking. He was blundering over everything in front of him and making fun of the world. At this time, he started seeing a man. He was trying to remove something, but he couldn't do it. He quickly went to help him, but the man refused because he knew that she was a very strong kicker and could break these things if he caught her. When Hercules left, he found children playing, so he tried to play with them, but the children were also afraid of him, so he would sit next to the beer at noon. He was sad that everyone was afraid of him. At the same time, there was a flying saucer and he went to catch it, but he knocks on the column. The column fell. Then he hit the pillar next to him. And so, to some extent, it affects the whole world. At this time, all the people were attacking him and asking him to leave the country. At that time, the man and his wife repeat that they admit the truth. They knew that he was not their son or anything. He gave him the chain that was tied around his neck when he was young, and Hercules goes to look for his family and goes to the statue of Zeus and finds that the mark on it is the same as the mark on the statue. He keeps talking to the statue and asks to know where it is. Suddenly the statue responded to him, and a man ran and was afraid. The statue grabbed him and told him not to be afraid. Tell him that he is his father, so she is classy. He was surprised and asked him why he would leave me building on the ground like this. Fotsy? And ask him, is your uncle the one who kidnapped you? And about every normal person, while we are here at the Olympus, you must stay outside in order to know how to come live with us. He asks his father and tells him, how can I return to the Olympus again? So how? He asked him, stay firm on the ground and I will return you back to Olympus. Hercules asked him, how? Will I be a real hero again? How will I discover my strength? So how? And I ask him, the first thing you do is go to the trainer of the champions, and his name was Gooch. Then Zeus whistled and the horse, his owner, Hercules, who had lived in a city for a long time, came and the horse came and started playing with him. Then, after that, he got on his horse and went to look for Gooch, and the horse arrived to show you to the place. A stranger and Kicker there found the back of a goat in the trees, so Kicking took it out and found that half of it was a goat and half of it was a human. FAHR asked him about the champion's coach. Did you know that when people told him he didn't come, Farkill would go with him and ask him to train him? But Gooch refused and told him that I retired a long time ago. When Gooch finds that he kicked Egypt, he decides to take him with him and they enter his house and show him all the heroes that he trained, and he tells him that none of them knew how to complete the path to the end, as she is a man who took him to prove to him that he is strong and that the stone is large in front of him, but Gooch also refused, Farkill said. To him, I have to return a hero to know how to heal elms again, and I know that he is the son of Zeus, but the coach did not believe him and sat laughing at him, until Zeus sends him a thunderbolt and electrocutes him, and at this time the coach is convinced that Hercules is really the son of Zeus and agrees to train him, and he actually begins to train him with class. Over the years, he was training Hirat and Hara, day after day, training new things and becoming much stronger. On the day of the kick, he asked Gooch to leave the island and start fighting the bad guys. The coach agreed and told him that we will start with Taiba because of Taiba Millie. He is a lot of evil people and he is very kind to him, and at this time he finds a girl screaming and behind her is a leprous monster with the body of a horse. When he goes to kick to save her, this monster hits him. Finally, Hercules beats him. All the while, Hercules saved the girl and came back again to hit that horse, and his trainer told him that after that, you must focus on the battle and not allow anything else. But also Hercules. Sarhan was with this girl, and there was no training center, and the girl recognized him and told him that her name was Maggie. He asked her to give her a ride, but Maggie did not agree and walked alone. On the other hand, Maggie seemed to know Odin, and it was clear that he was her recruiter and employer. She told him that she saw him seeing you, and he was the one who hit the monster today. When he heard the name, he went crazy and looked at the servants feeling nervous because they had attacked him for a long time, so we would return to him again. Rak actually entered the city of Thebes to try to prove his strength there, and he discovered that it was truly a strange country, and it was clear that they needed a real hero. He stood in the middle of the city and told them, I am the hero you were waiting for. Of course, all the people laughed at him and called him crazy for a man who sat down. On the side, he was desperate and didn't know what to do, so he found Maggie. She was crying out for someone to come help her. As long as Hercules left her and took her on his horse to see what she wanted. When he reached the place where Maggie told him, there were no children locked under a big rock, they were workers screaming. Of course, all the people of the city went to see Rak's strength. Indeed, this is the rock above them. He was able to free these children, and all the people were happy with him and his strength. But after a while, these children turned into Odin's followers. I mean, all of this was Odin's plan. But the matter is not over for the people of the city. They heard a voice coming from inside the cave, and all along Heracles went to die, but the monster swallowed him, she kicked, cut his neck and killed him, and all the people were amazed by his strength and preferred to bow to him, and they could not believe that there was a normal human being like this, and all this or religion was watching them because of him. In fact, the one who had this monster appeared, and before they left the cave, the monster was healthy again, and instead of the head that he cut off, he saw 3 other ones appear, and his horse came, and he was helping Hercules to cut off the heads of the monsters, and then Hercules got an idea and broke the rocks around them. All the rocks fell on this monster and he died. On the other hand, Dean was very annoyed and saw that Hercules' strength was great, so he asked Nagy to help him and told her, if you help me and we get rid of him, I will give you your freedom and I will not ask you for anything else. On the other hand, Rakel returned again to the statue of Zeus and asked him to come back to live again in Olympus, but Zay asked him for a while about this, and then Hercules became upset because he did not know what else to do to prove his strength, and at this time Magi came to him, and tried to find out a point. His weakness. The man told her that he had no weakness yet, and Maggie looked like she was starting to love him and didn't want to hurt him as he wanted. He had asked her and Maggie, while she was sitting alone, confessed that she really loved him, so he wanted us to know her, and he asked her about his weak point, but Maggie told him if she wouldn't go through with this plan, and she told him to see someone else, we might get upset with her, and he told her not to forget that you are mine for now. As Coach Gooch saw Maggie tied up, he is shocked and realizes that Maggie is a danger to them and comes back quickly to tell him to see you, but he is classy and does not listen and is training as a worker. On the other hand, they had a beautiful horse, and a worker was pulling his horse, Rak. When his horse kicks, he walks after her, and this immunity turns into a follower of Cad, and he catches his horse, like Rak. On the other hand, the coach is trying to convince him that Maggie is laughing at him all night long, and they don't believe him. At that time, he appeared to see you awake when he did not know that he supported him and wanted to have Maggie, tied her up, told him that he would kill her, and asked him to see that he would give him his power even if he did that. He will free Magi Fark to agree and say hello to the extent of his power. Of course, Hercules was completely weak after that. Dean tells him that Maggie was laughing at you all the time and was working with me. A long time ago, the day came when the giants were freed, just like the witches of old. She said, they have begun to destroy the entire earth. We may order all the giants to go and destroy the city of Ulm, but Phasais knows that he will announce the attack on them. On the other hand, my heart remained on the ground and was trying to speed up these giants, but unfortunately he was weak because his strength was not there. And Maggie goes again to the trainer to convince him that they are going to help him. He sees you. On the other hand, I would like to reach Zeus, and he started attacking him, and of course Odin was stronger than him after he lost the strength of Rak. We returned to him again. Rak was fighting a large giant, and the trainer and Magi arrived to him, and they began to encourage him. Indeed, Hercules knew how to hit this giant, and after he finished with him, there was a column that was going to fall on Yarick, and as soon as she came and saved him, a man came around to save her because the column fell on her, so Verk tried to help her and remove the column, and he actually knew how to remove it. He discovered that his strength had returned to him again, so he quickly took his horse and went to Ulm just to help Zeus, and he actually helped him and they were able to defeat all the evil people. On the other hand, the fortune tellers thought that they were cutting Maggie's rope so that she would die as a man who would be upset with her. And they did that, and Hercules was very upset that Maggie had died. After that, he went and asked him if he would bring Maggie back again, so he came. He told him, if you want her to come back, jump into the sea. The dead, and he tried to extract his soul, and if she did that, she would come back to live again, so in fact, Herod did not think about it and jumped straight into the sea. And then Odin, the moon of the Sibyls. They cut a rope there so that he would die and not come out of the sea again, but his line was strong and they did not know how to cut it. Finally, Herrick reached Maggie's soul and took her out of the sea of the dead. He was of course shocked, and he could not believe the one who kicked his work, and asked him to kindly forgive him for who he was. Just do it. Every time a cat forgave Wash, he beat him and threw him into the sea of Mother Wade, and for all that he did, he saved Maggie and brought her back to life, and after that, a cat ascended to the throne of Zeus, and all the people of Olympus welcomed him.